Now, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni today welcomed leaders of the world's 7 richest nations at the G7 summit in Italy. There you can see US President Joe Biden. He arrived there on Wednesday night to attend the G7, which in addition to the leaders of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the United Kingdom is also being attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a special invitee. So there you can see the leaders of the G7, Gaza, migration, AI is all on the agenda. Let's go across to NDTV's Vishnu Shom, who joins us from Borgo there in Italy. Vishnu, tell us what's on the agenda day one.
Well, I'm in Bari, and the reason I'm in Bari and not at the venue is because that's 60 kilometers away and that's a complete red zone. So there is no media which is actually allowed over there at all. So the media is actually allowed over here in Bari, far, far away, but we are monitoring events over there. If I can just ask you to sort of end the feedback into my ear, but to answer your question, it's a very, very important day today as far as the entire G7 process is concerned. Late tonight, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be over here. The Prime Minister arriving shortly after 11:30 p.m. this evening, as I understand it. So tomorrow is going to be a very busy day for him. The Prime Minister, this is, remember, his first visit abroad after winning the elections, after coming to power for a third time, will be focusing on artificial intelligence. He'll be focusing on migration, Africa, the Pacific region and Pacific region security, among other issues, and also the important issue of climate. It remains to be seen now whether there'll be a pull aside or anybody approaching him to actually discuss what's likely to be the major issue over here, which is the issue of the Ukraine war. Remember, Gargi, in just a couple of days from now, the Ukraine War World Peace Summit in Lucerne in Switzerland begins. It's unclear if the Prime Minister will attend that. Chances are that he will not. But that said, there is a big effort now by the United States, by Joe Biden, to actually ensure that there is $50 billion of funding for Ukraine, which comes from seized Russian assets. So that is very much a focus. Now, whether the Prime Minister will be involved in that conversation or not, we don't know. But yes, there will be bilateral meetings as well, certainly with Giorgia Meloni, somebody who's come to India in the past as a guest during the G20 process. She's had a state visit as well. So, you know, it is an important visit and there'll be further pull-asides and possibly even more bilateral. So details of which are still in the process of being worked out. Gargi.
Right, Vishnu. In fact, that was my next question about what you're hearing regarding bilaterals. There's also talk that Prime Minister Modi could meet with President Biden.
If he's over here, I fully expect him to meet President Biden, whether it's a pull aside or whether it's a proper meeting between the two leaders. I would expect several world leaders over here to congratulate Prime Minister Modi on being re-elected. Interestingly, and this is still unconfirmed, is whether there will be a pull aside or a meeting between the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Prime Minister Modi. Remember, the India-Canada relationship is particularly testy at this stage, given India's concerns about Khalistani sympathizers in Canada, whether there is some effort at trying to bridge that gap or even to perhaps ensure that the relationship between Canada and India, which has really plummeted of late, is brought back onto an even keel. That's something that we really do need to see. But it's a short visit. You know, I mean, given, let me tell you how it's also short. Normally when the Prime Minister travels abroad, particularly in countries where there's a huge diaspora, there is a big event. It's usually called the Modi event, something that we've all covered and seen in the past, where a stadium is filled with people of Indian origin. This time around, it's just going to be 5 to 6 minutes where the Prime Minister will be meeting people of Indian origin.
All right.
So it's just a very little get-together which has been organized before he heads to the hotel. Gargi.